Yo, yo, what up? King Tone 734. And we finna do a little reading. We got this article from OK Magazine. And the story is by Jacqueline Roth. And the heading says VP Kamala Harris slammed for bursting into laughter after saying there's more work to be done to gain more female leaders in the U.S. uh, all right, so Vice President Kamala Harris let out a laugh while she discussed the strategy of gaining more female leaders in the U.S. and Africa. On Wednesday, April 5th, travel blogger on Wednesday, April 5th, travel blogger Jessica Nabongo asked Harris, 58, about her experience in Africa and how she felt about meeting Tanzanian President Samia Suluhu Hassan. Why did you feel it was important to emphasize the empowerment of women, and what was that like to meet one of so few of the female heads of state? Nabongo asked. She's the only woman on the continent to lead a country, Harris said. And before her, Liberian President Ellen Johnson, who was the first and the last elected woman to lead a country on the continent. So there is still work to be done there. And here, obviously. After the remarks, Harris laughed as the audience clapped. Of course, people couldn't help but weigh in on the awkward moment. One person wrote, well, there are so many smart and proven female leaders in this country. Unfortunately, she isn't one of them. I'd say her stepping down in favor of a truly great female leader would be a great start. While another added, if she's the best and brightest thing they can dredge up for vice president, there is still a tremendous amount of work to be done. A third person added, have yet to hear something remarkable about her work in office. As OK previously reported, Harris came under fire for hardly being able to explain what she does as vice president. He really is a true partner and he understands that job. And remember, we came in during the height of the pandemic. And so much of the work was about, okay, we've got to cover a lot of bases and let's figure out between us how we can do it. But he's an extraordinary leader, and I wish people could see what I see because there's only one person who sits behind that resolute desk, she told Stephen Colbert of President Joe Biden. And the decisions that person has to make are the decisions that nobody else in the country can make. And he's an extraordinary leader. He really is. That's an excellent answer. And the question was, what's the job of the vice president? Colbert quipped back. And your answer is part of the job, I am assuming. Now, according to the heading of the whole thing of it, could you bring the heading back for me, Gotti Glit? We got Gotti Glit controlling the ones and twos. The heading was Vice President Kamala Harris slammed for bursting into laughter after saying there's more work to be done to gain more female leaders in the U.S. Now, what I just read, I don't think it had anything to do with her getting slammed for laughing after making a statement about needing more female heads of state. I think it was more about I think it was more about pointing out the fact that she's vice president and she's not really out there like traditional vice presidents, or yeah, like traditional vice presidents was. I don't know what any other vice president was doing. To be honest, I mean, what's Trump homeboy name that he threw to the wolves? Pence, Mike Pence. I heard his name more, during that era than any other vice president I can remember. I almost forgot Joe Biden was vice president
Obama.
to Obama. You know what I mean? Like, what do the vice president do? They be going around uh, taking care of shit that the president don't take care of at the moment, or they go like speaking engagements, or do they make executive decisions? You know what I'm saying? Can they
I'm trying to see.
enforce certain powers, or what is the role of the vice president in terms of the United States Constitution or whatever, or the presidency?
Let me
Like,
ask you
I know
this.
what the vice president mean when it comes to like clubs and street shit. Like, if I ain't around, then the VP need to be respected as if it was me. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know, man.
Let
What do you
me
think about it?
let me ask you this. Is it awkward how this goes from her laughing at a question to help women become more
Empowered.
empowerment and standing out on a women point of view of life, and this is done by a woman? Ain't that awkward? And then the conversation shifts to, dang, you a vice president. What's your job now?
Right.
Let's shift to her job now.
And then you leave out. Then you put up the comments of three people that's just like that don't agree with
Right, some horrible
that
comments.
don't support the vice president. So
Ain't that awkward?
hey, sometimes you got to be careful of the information you're getting, and you got to be aware of what type of food they trying to feed your brain. You got artificial food, and you got lab grown food, and you got certain foods that manipulate the body structure, and you know what I'm saying. And when it comes to your brain, you got to be aware of what type of food they trying to feed you, because I don't know what is the role of the vice president when it comes to that shit. What type of powers do she got? You know what I'm saying? That she can enforce or enact or whatever. Because Mike Pence, he ain't had the powers that they wanted him to do. Overturn the election or throw out some fucking votes or shut down some, I don't know. But he ain't had the power to do none of that shit. So, and at the end of the day, the president didn't even have the power to change that shit up. It's the people. We got the power. And we got to put out the right type of information. You know what I'm saying? And with that, we're going to say it's glit. Peace.